Like 1 mile can be 2 days or 3 days, but I only got 18 days of off and leaves. Yeah.
18
Then
days. Wow.
maybe wisdom teeth, that's 2 weeks. If I got both sides, because usually one side is 1 week. Hopefully only one per side. Then I can like recover faster also. Like the nervous system don't get much.
I was planning on like one of my ideas for podcasts was
Yeah, you told me.
legit wisdom teeth extraction special.
You told me. How's
Please
that?
don't. But if we're both under local anesthesia, right? Then we're just like on, it's basically drug, like being drugged down.
I just write down the questions I have. Then the one that don't have the wisdom teeth answers the question. Then I will just shout out region, then just subtitle that part. Whenever I speak, we got subtitles.
I think
The special episode is subtitle.
no, you still can speak because when I had mine
Is it?
removed, you can speak. But it's just it'll be the loopy. You see all those videos of people loopy like answer like there's like their honesty or
I'm saying when recovering, not during the.
No, like, we want the anesthesia. I think we want the anesthesia part. That's the fun part, is it not?
So with drugs, then it's fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we know.
We do not condone.
No wonder you don't want to go university.
Huh? What?
You have a lot of offers to take drugs and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, it also depends if you party or people you hang out with. Yeah.
I mean, with any form of like smoking, alcohol, there's all that also.
Yeah.
So offers.
Okay, smoking is already out. I think all the media has been putting in enough work to make it like uncool.
How about vaping?
Vaping still takes a while. Like all the smoking thing from our generation, all the assembly talks and stuff, is seeing the benefit is coming in. The small little incremental percentage of like, oh, smoking is bad, smoking is uncool, smoking is disgusting, lung cancer. They put all the weak, small, frail people as the actors or whatever. Now it's like in the society, it's like a societal thing that smokers are not that cool anymore. People still do it, but
yeah, all those who already do it will just continue, I guess.
Yeah.
Unless someone gets them out.
But the new gen is just they'll just vape. It's
Vape.
cool to them.
I mean, it's what? Nicotine, which is, as a compound on its own, I don't think it's bad. Even Hormozi preaches like using nicotine gum or something for focus, but I don't know. Being addicted to it just for, I don't think that's great.
It's the same thing as like
A hit.
I think Luke Belmar said this before. Like, if you don't understand the utility of something, don't use it. A lot of us really don't fully understand. Like even social media platforms, you don't understand why you are using TikTok for. Like what you're using it for, why you're using it. Then don't use it. Just get it off. Like get off the app. Like for YouTube, we know entertainment and education. So you are clear with that. You know how to use it. Then use it. Yeah. For YouTube Shorts, sometimes I don't even know why I'm scrolling. I don't know what I want to get out of it. So I have to catch myself.
It's the intention.
Yeah. The same thing as drugs. Like if you don't know what caffeine is to you, then probably don't take it. Like I know a lot of my friends that don't take caffeine, or my brother. Whenever I tell them I drink a lot of coffee, then they say, oh, should I drink coffee? I'm like, well, don't need it. Like if you need to ask that, you probably don't need it. So you don't know what does it do to you, or what. You don't want to get into it without. Then you just waste the effect. Then afterwards,
caffeine is, I don't know if it's okay. It is a drug, so it's better for sleep if you don't, I guess, have it as much. But if you, that's why utility, just utilize it well. And beyond that, like coffee, polyphenols, like the good antioxidant stuff. There are like studies, green tea.
Yeah, but I'm saying that those people that don't even know any of this, they shouldn't even drink it in the first place.
Or
I'm not asking them to not drink coffee or whatever, but go and understand why drinking coffee is good for you or bad for you. Then make the decision.
Yeah, so they need to start with education, like figuring out why it is good or bad.
Yeah. For me, I use those as like all the benefits. I will tunnel vision onto the benefits. They just because I already like got the habit of using the caffeine highs to get past certain like harder days, I guess. Make more progress on certain days. Yeah.
But for me, I use it because there is the afternoon, like sort of slump that most people do have.
Yeah.
So I use it to just get over that. Most of the time I time it to like 12 to 14 hours before my bedtime, so it doesn't impact at all. But better is just none. If you can survive well without it, go for it.
But beyond, most of us are not perfect. We confirm will have something there. It's possible to get everything handled like perfectly in terms of like your health, what you can use, what crushes you have. But I think to make life interesting, sometimes you do need one or two that legit risk and reward. Yeah.
Risk and reward is mitigating the negative impacts, which is just cycling. That's why doing it healthily, or at least monitoring it.
I don't think you can do that when you're like when you have a lot of things on your plate. That it's possible if you are just studying or whatever. But once you reach a certain age or you're trying to do more, you need to start thinking about what should cycle. But what should you cycle off? What should you start taking? What can you use to not hinder progress? Like sometimes if you are trying to cut weight, then without taking anything, that'll be tough to get the same output that you already had. So it's like you have to make a lot of decisions. What should you take? What should you cycle off? That's another thing that will add to your entire like process.
That's why just cycling off, like having it as a system, or whether it's weekly or something. That's why I'm cycling off today, not having caffeine.
I see. I'm just saying it's hard to make those decisions when you have more things on your plate.
That's why you make harder decisions when you are not in that situation. You make it beforehand, so that you stick to it. Yeah. When you're in a clearer state of mind with less struggles on your plate already.
Maybe just because I personally don't put as much importance in all this. Because to me, the risk that I can mitigate through putting in that extra more effort to create these systems is quite low. If that makes sense. Like if I get addicted to caffeine, it's reversible. It's just hard, but it's reversible. But if I don't, then I'll write on the benefit.
I mean, it is when it gets to the point where you cannot even say that is addicted or admit that it's an addiction, or then that is when you know.
I already have systems in place for those, whether I know or not. I think that is a better, more high leverage system for me personally. I kind of look at, Peter Thiel, like how? Not Peter Thiel. Who's the 4-hour work week?
Tim Ferriss.
Yeah, Tim Ferriss. I feel like it's way too extreme.
Way too extreme.
It's way too extreme. He does a lot of experimentation. Way too extreme. And
self-experiment. I mean, I listen to him a lot. Like I started off my
I look at his life. I don't want to be him. I look at him as I appreciate some of the things that he tried and preached, but I won't take most of like his advice because I look at his life. He experiments so much and whatever to the point that how old is he? Do you know?
I'm not sure. It's like
quite old, right?
Probably like.
And I still don't have a family or whatever yet. So like I'm not.
But that's his own personal life, in a sense.
Yeah, but everyone, like, we all have limited mental bandwidth. That is a fact. He put all the points on all these things, which, if he extends his life long enough, he'll still get to enjoy everything. I guess that's a good point, but we don't know. At any point, is that really the highest importance things that he looked? I mean, now I heard the Chris Williamson podcast with him that he's actively seeking for like to build a family and to find a partner or whatever. I feel like that should already be in tandem and not like sacrifice and just focus on health, business, health, then money, then go into one thing.
No, but like just a question: do you know his full backstory? Like what the struggles he's gone through in his life, everything.
I watched a few podcasts, but so far none stick. I can't recall.
That's why like if you want to, I guess, impose judgment onto someone, is like you want to, I guess, know their whole story. because you're only seeing that side of him, but basically he had a lot of mental health issues in the past, even depression, anxiety, all that. So he has personal issues to go through, and it's like his own interest to go and experiment and learn things. Like, if that is
him, that's his way out.
Everyone has to cope, coping mechanisms. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that if I take on all his things as extreme as him and not having those struggles, it doesn't mean that.
No, but he's not very extreme, like that extreme.
Is he not?
There are even more extreme people. Like, in a sense, the things that he does are to. That's why I started off with the 4-hour body. The stuff he does is to mitigate like the negative impacts of, so like him having cheat days once a week is to allow himself to have everything. But then there are like damage control, like things like having apple cider vinegar or lemon juice, stuff like that. Doing air squats before and like 90 minutes after you eat something like a very high carb, so that you'll go to your muscles instead of. So it's all to just live life more, in a sense.
Those are good advice, and it doesn't really. It's just learn it once, you can just use it. Those are tools. I'm talking about more of the lifestyle. Like, now this week I need to start trying this, to the point that like you have to sacrifice certain things.
No, but I don't. To him, it's not sacrifice, because that.
Yeah, that's to him. To me, if I were to follow every advice, that would be sacrifice. So it's just more like a.
Yeah, but who's asking you to follow every advice? That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm not saying anyone asked me to follow. That's just my opinion on him in general. Like, I wouldn't want to be like him, but I appreciate the things he teach, like some of the tools that I'm using, and I even bought his books, like 4-Hour Workweek on my Kindle and 4-Hour Body. My friends gifted to me. It's just a point on like, I understand a lot of people. They get a bit like pressured to start taking care of their body more, but they start to find people that tell them advice that is way too far ahead, to the point that shut them off. Like, they're like, there's so much to do, so they just don't do anything. They don't know what to do. They feel lost. Yeah. So for those people, usually just learning the basics of like the tools, I think those are more important. Like understanding the background of why your physiology reacts to like certain input and output, or what happens after you eat, like the air squatting. What is the science behind it? Roughly understand why, and why is it important to you even. But if you don't know why is it important to have your blood sugar regulated, so knowing the science doesn't help at all, because you don't understand what's a benefit to you and what is a alternate version of you that can function slightly better. Yeah. So I'm not saying experimentation is bad. I'm just saying that too much of anything, even in that realm, could possibly mean that you're sacrificing other things that's important to you, that you're just pushing back, or you're using that as like a cope to do other things that could be harder, because it's something that you deem important, but to reach it, you need to go way out of your comfort zone. Yeah.
So it's what? Over relying on. I don't really understand your point. This way.
Like, let's just say someone, he started self-improvement, he got to a good level, but what's important to him is finding love, family, good health, income. Okay, these 3 things. Let's just say that first. But he just dived too much into one, like the health part, to the point that the income part, they start sacrificing progress. Or it becomes comfortable to keep going down the health part. It's harder for him to go down the love part. He's find less. He put in less emphasis on it. Because I think all 3 things require you to put yourself in the discomfort zone, to experiment, to learn, to fail. Yeah. the capacity to fail decreases for the other two. Yeah, which is in the long run you can say it's essentialism or what, but sometimes people miss certain timings that is quite important as well.
It all just is seasons of time, purpose layers, concentric circles. So at finding balance, it's very hard to just immediately hit the right middle spot, right? That's why Goldilocks, you have to, oh, it's too hot, oh, it's too cold, oh, just right in the center.
Okay.
What I find is if your focus or priorities at any point in life, you can focus on, you might over focus on something, go to one extreme. Then after that, you realize, oh, this is too something. Then go to the other extreme. Oh, this is too something. Then you find a middle point and that is what works for you. That's sustainable. But you have to experiment. That's why self-experimentation. You have to experiment, find the limits, get people to raise your limits, to even find out all the possibilities, and then from there, you'll naturally lean towards the middle ground.
Okay.
A healthy balance of the two.
And maybe I'm just thinking in the form of there are people out there that's a bit more extreme in the way they rationalize, especially with sunk cost fallacy. They will start telling themselves, oh, let's just say somebody, this is another person that focus on income generation, focus on building businesses, focus on, I don't know, trading or whatever. They sacrifice health, maybe not a lot, like they're not super unhealthy, they're just not healthy in general. Or another one, and at the same time they sacrifice on like finding a partner or whatever, they're just sleeping around because they justify that to reach income is better to have low level, still satisfy their sexual needs and whatnot. But because of the income thing, when they realize they're going too far, they will like start rationalizing like, oh, if I keep going down this path, I will get the other two, I'll get enough resources to work on the other two, or since I already go down this path, what essentialism, whatever, they'll want to make that their identity to go further first. And they'll just rationalize, at this point, this season shouldn't end first. They'll find ways to justify not ending that season because it's somehow just more comfortable, keep going down that path. And I believe you've probably seen people like this before, that income, business, just keep going until it's too late to a point that reversing that, it's better to just not go that far, that deep, then try to reverse the negative effect than to just at the start know exactly what you want first, then dedicate, like plan out the timeline instead of like let it go too far.
I suppose it is a lot of parents now, they sort of lose sight of their why. It is just normal for working adults to, if you are already earning enough of an income, that's why a lot of the super successful people, they just keep going on even though maybe they should be focusing more on their family, stuff like that. But you cannot really blame them because the education that they had also, people were not telling them to think about such things.
Yeah.
And plan beforehand. Now with the education we have, we can like start earlier. That's why the generational, it is the self. We have more access to more information.
Yeah. We also get more prompts to think.
Yeah.
Like you said, like how many times you talk about journaling? Almost every episode. I believe for like 10 episodes, at least 10 times. But the importance is that like for just give you an example. I don't know how we probably talk about my timeline in like discussion, in conversations, but like I don't mind putting this out there. It's just a direction, not like a plan, like I'm gonna do this for sure. But the way I plan my life currently is that I make university the next milestone, because going to uni, for me, I'm studying abroad. I have to pay for it and whatnot. That requires me to earn money. So at this season of life, I will have, like, the layer of purpose will be raising my income in the sense that I get better at, like, I move forward in that sense. Yeah. So eventually, earning money, getting my health in check to earn money as well, like these two in balance, will allow me the stability resources to dedicate into like finding partner or whatever during uni, if that makes sense. So it's just a direction that makes logical sense to me. But along the way, of course, things will change. Focus might change, but at least you need to have a direction. Like figure out, I've journaled multiple times to find out what I need. And of course, it's not an easy choice to make, especially like going to uni and stuff. Like I believe like you're in the camp that believe that uni to you will just be
I mean, there's no utility to me.
There's no utility. Like you have to spend so much money and time into something that you could have gotten more benefits, more returns of your time and effort.
Beyond that, for me, it's just freedom. Like
freedom.
I do not function well inside hierarchical systems. Or like where there is like a, I guess
It's like with a system. Like if you're in it's basically like an organization. If you're in an organization like this, the freedom to focus on the 20% give you the 80%, the Pareto principle, will be very limited. If you have control over your own life, it's easier to just do the things that give you the most reward, the high leverage tasks. Because if you are going to enrolling into university, you have to take on modules that really don't benefit you at all. And you have to like still, in order to get that cert, to not waste your money, you have to go through that certain routes that you don't want to take.
That's why it's for me, it's really about if you can self-educate or obtain information yourself, then university where there's like a structured syllabus and everything may not be for you. But if you prefer that kind of routine structured, and then from there you can, I guess, further studies, that is the main thing, right? Or job prospects that require that sort of specific information you can only get through that curriculum style training. So different paths to the top of the mountain. What different callings depends on what your job you want also. What type of job, because that will affect what requirements the job has. That's mostly it.
I think the scary thing for uni, for me, when I decide whether I want to go or not, is that the people you surround yourself with. Most people that go to uni will most probably want the job. And my vision for myself always is to start something of my own. So I have control, I have creative control over it, and I can make the most impact via my own like business or my own product. But the thing is, if everyone around you is talking about like jobs, further studies, whatever, as tribal creatures, we will get swayed. Our opinions will like move towards the direction of, or maybe I should start looking at this just for like a backup plan. Then a backup plan with more people around you, you hang out with them more, will soon become your plan A. And that is a very dangerous thing that I really need to figure out before going to university, what I want to do with it. And therefore we are starting things like this, projects like this to get skin in the game so that I understand the contrast between a life that I might want and a life that I really don't want. I went through the internship process, jobs process. Of course, it's different. Like my internship journey was quite beneficial. It was fun. I learned a lot. It was the start of my journey out of the Discord mod era. But afterwards, I went on to work at other jobs, and it's just not it. Like working with somebody that has seniority over you, but like just not competent at all, and you still have to listen, you still have to take whatever stuff, and you're like just gambling. There's no stability. It's like you really have to find out what kind of job will suit you and the culture, the people, and if the people leave, how do you react? It's still, there's no stability. Like really 9 to 5, in order to have a life that you really want, you still have to like use as much agency as you can allow yourself to lah. So for me, university, to link back the whole plan thing, is that although university have courses and subjects that you don't want to learn that you think is useless but you still have to go through, my plan going into it is find systems, find friends, and do some sort of value exchange. Like if you learn about proactivity, you know that you actually can make things sway towards your direction, whatever your vision is. So for the things that I don't really want to study, I'll find ways to either outsource it. I know of people that will hire people to just do certain modules. And it may sound like, oh, why are you breaking the rules, whatever, whatever. But really, if you value the things that you can make the most impact to the world, it's worth it to go down that route. The gray areas are. Is it really dishonest or whatever? Is it against your moral compass? I think that one really need to go up to your own conscience.
Ask artificial AI.
Ask artificial AI.
Yes.
All the GPT users, you're safe. But you need to know very well what you are doing with the freed up time that you have from getting help and the consequences. Like for instance, last time back in poly, I will copy answers from my friends for programming because I really hated programming. All the technical modules, I hated every part of it. So I'll just copy codes and change up a little bit and submit. And I'll pass the module, but not with flying colors. Just borderline pass. But I know that I'm using the free time to play games, to delve into useless activities. And what I did was, I'm not really building a connection because I'm kind of just taking from people and I'm not increasing my value, so I cannot return them the same amount of value, if that makes sense. Yeah. So if you are going down the route of you want to make university, you want to make getting the degree happen instead of just living in the system and just doing whatever you're told, which I will disagree, because that's the main cons of going to a university, being in the system. Yeah, you can turn it around and make it like a game, but you really need to find out how you can provide back value and work as hard as, or maybe even harder than you would in a scenario. If you take out all the things you don't like, you should be working harder on the things that you like, instead of staying the same and just have used up the free time on things that are partying or whatever. Yeah.
I suppose going to uni, if you want to decide on or figure out the benefits, it is mostly just experiences, meeting new people. I mean, if you go to Harvard, network or something, you can just say, I went to Harvard. That's what a lot of people do. Yeah, if you want to make your life easier with AI and everything, I guess that's the equivalent of cheating. For me, in my own experience, it's been more primary school or secondary school even, spelling tests for English or Chinese, or mostly Chinese. Then how creative can you get because with a system that's constrained, so it's how creative you get. And yeah, I guess the schooling system as a whole, this is a framework I've heard about from I guess, first of all, Peruvian system or whatever created to indoctrinate kids or something, so that they are built to follow systems and go into the work space where there are set roles and everything, and they just play their part. So they are a machine in the cog, but someone else's machine. So that's what a lot of schools were originally created to. They were meant to manufacture kids, or I cannot call them kids really.
The working class.
Yeah, the working class.
Yeah.
Basically for the industrial revolution and everything. That's what served them then. Back when it was just inside a cluster of houses, factories, building villages. So there was limited network and everything. Now with the internet, it's more, you have access to everything.
You have a choice now. Yeah.
And it is, classrooms, school systems, they have a lot of individual assessments. This is more from Luke Belmar, where you are not, collaboration is seen as cheating, but in the real world, collaboration is what you have to do to survive, and one mind on its own cannot accomplish much, but a group of like-minded people can really accomplish a lot. So yeah, schooling systems in that regard are not the best.
But you can always find people that are like-minded. It's just that it's a gamble. What if you're in the class, people around you are just people that are turned off by the idea of collaboration. They are the product of...
They've been programmed.
Yeah, they've been programmed, and it's very hard to turn them. They believe that if I lend you my answer and you help me with something else, we are both cheating. Instead of we are both providing value to one another, in the sense that we need to continue get good at the thing that we provide value for. So they don't see that part. They only see the part that whatever the rules tells them.
That's why it is the problem with the system that causes people internal, like moral, ethical issues and concerns.
So there's still a chance that you can meet people that are like you, that's willing to go down that route. It's just, why take the gamble? Or if you're already decided like it's a non-negotiable to go to university, then you really have to figure out beforehand. A lot of people skip this step, and it's one of the most vital step that I think is, what do you want a degree for? I don't say, I unlock a lot of opportunities for this job, that job. That's such a stupid excuse to... It's a lazy way of saying that I didn't think about it. I won't think about it. I won't even spend 20 minutes writing down what I want to do with this thing that I'm dedicating so much time, energy, attention into.
And a lot of the times it may not be your own money, it may be your parents or loans from student loans.
So don't be that lazy. Don't give that lazy excuse of like, I just want to unlock opportunities. It's always good. Like all the textbook answers. I just find that so like I won't give any ounce of respect to people that say it this way and like they can somehow justify like that is the right thing to do. Like everyone is doing it, so I'm doing this. Everyone is taking this got a lot of job opportunities, or I want to see where this leads me. Like it's just a very lazy way. Or like, I know we all can't 100% predict where we will end up, but at least have a direction or have a reason to do certain things. So for university, if you are taking a course that goes into certain professions, it should align. Like you should think like, to go into this, my end goal is to work in this industry to provide value for this type of people because of what? Like you have your own reason. Yeah. For me, I'm going to psychology because it's always fascinated me, and even just mental health alone, I had episodes, I have families, friends, I have a reason to learn more about psychology, and maybe perhaps like psychoanalyzing, learning about therapy is something that I will read. I've like read books about like psychotherapies and shit. So it's just something that interests me, that I think I can provide value, I might enjoy. And generally dealing with the human mind, which all of us are. That is like the stability thing. Like it won't get out of this. So that is my reason. And if I have that reason, the plan will just fall into place. I don't need to worry about, let's say, should I take masters? Should I do this? Should I do that? I have the general direction that I want to help people through like working with people, helping people, all this. So if I don't go down the exact route of becoming a psychotherapist or a psychiatrist, so be it. I'll provide value somewhere else. But
job opportunities will keep changing with online AI, everything.
Yeah. So having that direction, not having the end goal of, I need to be. But of course, if like currently I'm telling myself, enrolling into university, I will get my side hustle, like my business, whatever, my content, my YouTube channel. Just, I'll go 100% in it. I'll get it done well, professionally. I don't want to have regrets of like, I could have worked harder for my business. But I also wouldn't do it just 100% into my business and not give any effort into my uni. I still want to give it my best. I think it's possible. Like one limiting belief is that, although mental bandwidth is limited, but one limiting belief is that if you go 100% in one thing, you cannot go 100% in another thing. If it's too similar, I don't think, maybe you can't go both sides 100%. But it's something like studies, like helping people. If you can find it to integrate the the reason behind doing both things, then I think both can go together. So one advice I heard from someone older than me that is doing quite well, like I think he's taking he has taken on like two masters. He's working on his third, and he's moving towards the direction of I think PhD. He's trying to be a lecturer, then go down the PhD route. He told me that, and he started his business, and now he's just working as a quite high ranking role in a company. He's earning decent. He's paying. He's studying part time as well. One thing he told me is that instead of going to university thinking that what can the university give me or connections, whatever, you go into it as the person that has a chance to provide the university with something. Or I can give this university, let's say if I continue this podcast throughout uni, I can be the podcast to help my university grow. What can I offer to the university while still getting my grades and everything done properly? So having that paradigm shift of how you can be someone important through providing value to the organization instead of being in the organization and hope that the organization provide you the value. That's a huge paradigm shift for me. I think it's fun as well. So there are ways that you can look at things that previously you might not have thought about.
You can integrate, so it's not either or, it's both and that sort of thing.
Or if you have a business, you can be the sponsor of the university, and you just suddenly open up so much like a market of like university students to work with. You can literally sell your product in the campus or whatever. If it's good enough, guess what? You're gonna be successful. You're gonna get the funding you need to move on to other ventures, so on and so forth, whatever your goal is. But have that direction of like, oh, there's opportunities, definitely. Like, I'm not saying that just now when I say those people that use that as an excuse, I'm not saying that thing is wrong. It's just that don't stop there. Go a bit further, think a bit further.
Yeah. So it is utility, what you want to look out. So you need to plan out what your end goal is, even have that vision in mind. So what do you want and what's your timeline? How long are you willing to give? Because university, 4 years. So if you're willing to give up that time or you're shifting that using intention, so you have a set intention and you use that time to go towards your ideal future. So that you can turn it to that way. There is no like fixed path. That is why or you cannot get unconventional results from like the conventional way, the method. I heard this from Iman Gadzhi or something, one of his keys for his video. But you can go a conventional, what people may call a conventional route, university. But if what you're looking to gain from it is completely different from a normal person who doesn't have that much intention even going there, then you may get even a lot more than the average person.
Right. So a contrarian strategy / frame to look at a conventional route still makes sense. It's about the intention and what you plan to do with it and how creative you can go with it. That's the fun part. That's the exciting part. And that's the part that people like to not think about, or they are too afraid. They have fears. They're like, oh, what if I fail? Or what if I think so much, then I end up just not even passing the basics or whatever. I think setting the goal to do more is quite important as well. Then for you, you talk about 4 years might be a waste of time. So do you think it's a waste of time, and are you going to university?
For me?
Yeah.
You heard my what I said earlier. I definitely don't think I'm going to go. If I do go,
don't think you want to go.
Yeah, don't think. So you can never know.
Don't think.
You can choose, and with the current set of beliefs I have, that I do not think will really change regarding university as a whole, or being under another system. That's why leaving to me, that's what I've always said. I'm right now in tertiary education. So leaving one tertiary education to go into another one, to me, I'm really not say coping well, but I'm not enjoying myself as much as if I were to drop out, let's say.
Then what about those people that will say, oh, there are still pros of going to university?
There are pros and cons of everything.
How do you deal with that? What do you plan to do?
What do I plan to do with my time?
Yeah.
That's why, okay, so I have, if you want to know my timeline, it is, I have the next at least sort of 5 years mapped out in a sense where I already know that, I guess the job interview question where where do you see yourself in 5 years? So I have NS, National Service coming up. So that it will be 2 years. But right now I have a year before that time. So it's making the most of that this year, building up as much as I can. This podcast, I'm going to start doing my own writing sort of thing. Newsletter, info products. I'm going down that route.
Yep.
So I can monetize my mind, not my time, because most jobs are just like selling your time.
It is.
So I'm going to focus building up. That's why the foundations are the most important. Build up during that time. Then sustain throughout. So, the most powerful effect, however, in the world is compounding. I think Einstein said.
Yep.
But compound that revenue. I'm not sure what my 2 years are going to be like, but I'm fine with that uncertainty. I'll go in there and figure it out because I know that I can deal with the problem then. Then from there, it depends on how much I accomplish in this 3 years. But that 5 years, I will spend more experiencing life, probably continuing to scale businesses, whether it is my own or other people's. I identify sort of as an entrepreneur, so I work within other businesses, people I care about, and then try to think as an entrepreneur, try to apply business principles, learn. Yeah.
What is the best case scenario in that 3 years that you talk about? That before you have freedom, or before you supposedly need to go to university. What does that?
Supposedly.
1 year plus the 2 years of national service. What is the best case scenario, the outcome?
Best case scenario.
What kind of person will you become if everything goes to plan? Maybe not plan, goes towards the ideal future.
I suppose it is less really the type of person I will become because I guess type of person I will become is someone who is able to through my goals, whether it's financial or romantic, relationship wise, it will be just become a person who is worthy of. That's why you are paid in proportion to the difficulty of the problems that you solve. Elon Musk, I think, said this. So I will be right now at the level I'm at. I'm not able to solve everyone's problems to the best of my. Okay, I'm trying my best, but I'm not able to solve everyone's problems easily or whether through hard work or everything. So I need to level up, and then whether it's through marketing, through persuasion, through just learning myself how to teach others and improve their lives.
Yep.
Through that, solve people's problems. So that's the kind of person I will become, and then I'll get paid in proportion to that. So get money as a byproduct of that. And so best case is I will be financially free. So I'll be earning my own income, free from my parents. I'll be detached. I can sustain myself.
Yep.
And even be able to be more generous with the people around me, community. That's the
reinvesting into whatever that is important in your life.
Yeah,
like your health, your mental bandwidth, your sleep.
Okay, with money, right? There's this quote I really like from Ramit Sethi. It's just spend money extravagantly on the things you love, and cut costs mercilessly on the things that you don't. That's been my framework. With how I spend money as a whole. So buying gifts for people, I don't mind. Spending on my own health, nutrition, that's one of the parts that nutrition, or you can just call it food. I love food, so I spend a lot on that also. And I don't mind spending in terms of that.
But a lot of people don't know what they want. Like we talked about in last week's episode.
Yeah.
If people don't know what they want, it's hard to take their advice. Because how do you know what to spend extravagantly? And you can always just rationalize your way out of things. Like, this is important. I think this is important. I think I don't need that. Food, I can just eat this instead. It's fine. So they know what they want. They know where's the end goal. That could be hard for some people.
I find with spending is the spending on things that have very little to no value that I question a lot. If you're, let's say, I'll pass Valorant skins or anything, spending thousands on that, in my view, that is not is this idea of conscious consumerism, or something I learned about for some school project, where basically every dollar you pay is sort of a vote to like the kind of person you want to be, and also the type of world you want to create.
Right.
So if you're spending on, you're paying corporations or whatever, Lay's, getting some Pringles or something, are you trying to contribute to the corporations like earnings?
And it's also on the second order consequence. Once you spend $1, the next dollar will tend to skew towards that identity. Like if you eat Lay's once, the next time round, even if you don't buy the same Lay's, you buy something that is more towards of that direction, like subconsciously.
It is also early reward because you're paying for it and you're crunching on it. It's a reward, so you will be incentivized to go again after.
So, okay, so to round things off, these 3 years you are focusing on leveling up whatever skill you need and whatever traits like financial freedom, all this, in order to provide more value, so that when you reach the stage whereby education supposedly need to start, you've already been on the path to serve more people, and you learn as you go. You learn as you go.
Yeah, because what is education? Why are you trying to get educated for? That is why the job thingy, the job at the end of your education is how you solve problems for people.
Yep.
It is the means through which you do that. So if I'm able to shortcut that and just cut that out because I am doing my own self-education even now, and I will continuously do that because I'm a perpetual learner, this sort of thing, then I will start earlier, and also through all my business ventures, grow, develop my skills. Me as a person will not change much, but I guess it is how I solve people's problems, provide value to everyone around me, elevate people around me.
It's a good thing that you want to be able to provide value to other people and investing in the right things. I think that's very important. And also investing in the identity, the future version of you. So, for instance, I bought a MacBook and an iPhone. Before this, I was always like a Samsung user. And there's always this, I made this video sometime back about like the identity of a Android user and a Apple user. And the difference to me, I use it to reinforce the identity that if I have an iPhone, I'll be more professional. I will not have games on it, and I just associate a series of rules. And also that I want to be a content creator, and content creator requires good video quality. And looking at like the cost benefit ratio, an Apple phone will still be superior if I want to do content creation with AirDrop, with the video quality whatsoever. Like even this angle is filmed on an iPhone, and you can see how good the quality is.
Film on iPhone.
Film on iPhone, yes. This is not a ad read, by the way.
Unless you want to sponsor us, Apple.
Apple, please. Nah, I'm kidding. So, naturally, I used to have a PC as well. My identity always is, I want the bang for buck in terms of, if I spend this money, I want to have the most specs or whatsoever. I don't really think about the utility or what it will mean. So with that spec, I started gaming and stuff. So it goes towards a bad route. So don't expose, the lesson here is don't expose yourself to potentiality to go towards a path that you don't really want to take. You don't really want your future 80-year-old you to want you to take. I think that's a very important thing. So by choosing what I want, by choosing the vision I want, by investing in the things that I see myself doing in the future, everything will fall into place. The decision to buy an iPhone, the decision to upgrade to a workstation, to a MacBook, so that I don't need to have like a PC at home, then shift to this, shift to that gear. Just buying gears, buying tools that will get you there will fall into place, and you don't need to worry. Because I know of people that are trying to decide to buy a laptop for university, then they're like, oh, should I get this spec? Should I future-proof this? Should I future-proof that? And if I buy a MacBook, it's cool, it's in the ecosystem, but do I really need it? Is there a better alternative? Because they are lost in the sense that they don't really fully know what direction they're heading. They only know that I need to get by these 3 years of university.
That's why it's short-term thinking in only that 3 years. Yeah.
So short-term thinking actually takes up more of your mental bandwidth and time. You have to worry about small little decisions that really don't make an impact. Why not just condense that into thinking of which direction you are heading?
That's why in the long term, really, long-term thinking will work better because it's more upfront work like now, but future you will thank you because you're making life easier for future you by investing in you now so that future you doesn't have those problems to deal with.
And the problems don't just stop at, oh, should I do this, should I do that, then spend like hours thinking. What if you spend hours thinking and still make the wrong decision and take a huge detour? And time is like, I think we all agree time is the most important like currency that we want. Like it's a resource that cannot be replenished. We talked about this in previous episodes. Why waste that when you can just use it, invest the time first into something that is important, that is high leverage? A lot of people would never want to figure out what they want. They always like find excuse like, I really don't know. Like it's very easy to say that and just like move on with your day and like watch show, hang out with friends. It's easy to do that. But now I'm opening up the Pandora box and telling you the anti-vision. Like you might make a lot of wrong decisions. You might hit a lot of walls that you could have just saved if you
Gain
take this
clarity.
advice. Yeah, gain clarity.
As a whole, the framework, I guess, to have is just being really mindful about not just how you spend your money because, okay, like it or not, we have to spend money to survive in a sense. But it is how you spend your time, energy, and attention.
Yep.
So you spend time thinking about what your future will be like so that, and what you even need for that future so that you do not make stupid decisions and make irreversible sort of time decisions because time is limited.
Yep.
And that is what you don't want. You want to optimize for the limited amount of time you have on this earth in a sense. Yeah. So spending time. So you want to spend it learning or spend both time and money on, to me, is just continuously reinvesting in myself, in my learning, because for me, health as a whole, if I invest into my health, I am able to think more clearly, function better on a day-to-day basis, on the lead up to my goals, everything. So I see it as an investment in me now that future me will appreciate.
And it's like you just said, future you will appreciate. And for people that don't have that practice of journaling or whatever, one simple thing you can do to help you out is just imagine future me right beside me. What would you want me to do? Like, I heard this story recently about like someone took this visualization technique of like visualizing the future you in the room with you and trying to give you advice. And he's been working very hard for his job and like spending time with his family or whatever. He started to think more about his job and stuff. He's not present. Then one thing that once he adopt the technique of visualizing the future you in front of him, he realized that the future you probably want him to look at his like cute daughter, to spend time, to look at the smile, appreciate every moment with them. Then when they work, focus on like whatever leverage task and focus on health so that I can have longevity. So your future you will understand what you need.
It is the deathbed visualization where if you ask someone or most people, the answers for like what do you wish you like, what do you regret about your life, most of the time, what do you wish you've done more of, no one ever answers that they wanted to do more work. So in a sense, with the 4-hour work week and everything, it is cutting down to the minimum possible hours to work. But obviously you need to work to feel meaning, have purpose. Because if you don't work, if you don't contribute anything, that is being selfish in a sense. You're not providing anything to the people around you. You're wasting the time and energy and attention on yourself, which is quite self-centered.
Yeah. I think it goes back to the first thing I thought about. Like, I thought about Tim Ferriss. Maybe another better example is Bryan Johnson, the billionaire that focused a lot on health.
Okay.
Like, at what point all his time and energy, although he expanded to a good level, is spent on something that him at the end of his life wouldn't appreciate him doing. He could have done other things. at one point, focusing too much on like longevity could have a negative impact on, not negative impact, could cause something, could cause like regret, basically. Like we all, the advice of having deathbed visualization or having your 80-year-old self giving you the advice is that you want to mitigate as much regret as possible and give you clarity on what is important in front of you. What if spending like just hours a day just focusing on creating this protocol of like trying to reverse aging is not the best
the thing for him. Okay, with anti-aging as a whole, I went down that route. I realized because that I didn't have my end vision in mind.
Yep.
So I did go down longevity, everything, trying to optimize for that. Then I realized I was being a dumb optimizer. So I rerouted back. But you never know. It is the age of technology, Moore's law. So technology is continuously advancing at an exponential rate.
Yep.
So now it used to be like how many terabytes, kabillion terabytes of information like in 2 days. Now it's like 1 day or a few seconds or something. So it's continuously going that way with AI, everything. You never know. He may discover the cure to living forever, whatever. That is the purpose he envisioned for himself. So he's just following through on that. And it depends on what he's sacrificing. So to him, that's why everything is personal. What you sacrifice is personal. So to him, he's sacrificing. I mean, okay, his relationship with his son, I find it kind of admirable in the sense that he has a
at least what he showed to us, that is something to work towards. Yeah.
But so in my view, he's not really sacrificing much. But maybe that's because I personally am more
extreme. And we really don't know anyone, honestly.
It's just what you see, what they portray themselves as online.
So I guess the moral of this story of us talking about other people's life is that at the end of the day, we don't really know anyone. It's just that a lot of this is just like I projecting onto them like what I don't want to work on. So you can use that as like, oh, if I'm projecting that much, I'm not a good person, or I need to work harder to not project. I think it's good that you're projecting because it's reflecting on your desires, like what you want.
I mean, everyone is selling an idea. Everyone is projecting their thoughts, their opinions onto the people around them. That's why your average of the 5 people. We're going to say this every single episode, more or less. But so the moment you you have to find people who have similar goals to you. And then you can listen to them as they distill the information, the knowledge that help them solve problems that they had on the journey. Maybe they already have it. There's this Hormozi tier list of advice. So people who have already done it, people who have not done it, people who have done it themselves, people who have helped other people accomplish it. I think there are levels to the levels. But you want to find people who are on the same trajectory or ahead of you to listen to, in a sense. Then you can filter out the rest. Everyone is projecting onto other people. Criticism, a lot of the time it is just when you criticize someone, it's more of something to do with you. You find that you have a problem with it. Not everyone may have a problem with it.
So people have the problem, but they're not at the stage to deal with that problem. But you are at the stage. That's why you give it more emphasis. It's like the Tesla effect. Someone might want to buy a Tesla, but they might not observe that as much Tesla. But if you want to buy a Tesla and you start to see more Tesla on the streets, you point it out to them. Oh, that's a Tesla. Okay, it's not a one-to-one example, but what I realized is that through projecting your insecurities, however, you get to understand yourself more. If you really go and like flesh out everything, why you feel that way, and what can you do with it. There's another like a discomfort thing that you can lean towards.
Yeah, that's why if you notice yourself, I don't really like this person, maybe you should stop. Instead of just taking it at face value, I don't like this person. Something, there's a gut feeling. Maybe you can talk to the person. You don't have to become great friends with that person, but just ask questions, understand the person more. Because like it or not, he or she is a human being. Or they. So you have to ask. You have to find out more about them so you can find out more about yourself. You have to learn about the world around you so you can learn more about yourself and how you interact with the world. And
look at you are the 5 person that you spend the most time with as the process of osmosis. you will get impacted. They will pass down like cells information towards to you, but you have a partially permeable membrane that you actually have the choice, the autonomy to influence. So find the people that teach people or help people get successful, to learn how they have that frames. Okay, so that membrane, to me, how I define it is a combination of your frames, so how you process information, and secondly is the skills. Like for instance, you talk about like if you've met someone that really you can't find any common topics, it's a skill to steer the conversation towards something that you both can still benefit, still a win-win. So that takes skills. So it's about these two things in combination. So if you can make the membrane something productive, something useful, I think anyone that you hang out with can still be a positive experience for you, can still be fun, can still be educational for you, even though they have less like the things that you want.
There is something to learn from everybody. Really, humility in that aspect. Really, not putting yourself on a pedestal or anyone else on a, I guess, I don't know what's below a pedestal, but yeah. So if you don't like someone, it says something about you. Maybe there is a reason. So you should really, and a lot of the time it may be just because you see an aspect of yourself in your, it's like, I see myself in my nemesis. That's a like Big Sean lyric quote randomly popped in my head. Yeah, so you see the most of the time it's the villains of shows, villains, heroes, they have very similar sort of backstories, but it is about what they do with it. And they have just like a lot of, what do you call it, contrast, juxtaposition, not sure, but they are very similar in their, it's just the smallest thing could have like swapped and caused them to go down completely different routes.
A lot of things are like parallel. It's just that they will never meet because although it's parallel, it's moving towards the same direction. It's out of different intentions, and the outcome will be different as well. Yeah.
Hormozi said, heroes and villains have the same backstory. It is about what they do with it that like changes it. On heroes and villains, I have another shirt.
Sponsor us again, please, Marvel.
I don't know. Marvel can sponsor us. We'll have Tom Holland here next episode.
Right, we'll interview Tom Holland one day.
But okay, I wanted to talk about this concept because we talked about it earlier also. Splitting your energy. So this shirt is not the best representation of it. It's a Marvel shirt, but I'm gonna talk about Superman anyway.
Okay.
DC. So even Superman needs to be Clark Kent some of the time. So Superman, he's not Superman 24/7, right?
Why not?
Okay, I guess it's identity, but it's like mask. Secret identity, right?
Did Superman figure out why he needs to be Clark Kent?
Why he needs?
Do we know his intention?
Do we know his intention? That's a good question.
Right. I actually don't know that.
Why is Superman?
For people that know, please comment now. Why Superman needs to be Clark Kent in the first place? Like, does he enjoy it? Is it a necessity?
Wasn't he just raised as Clark Kent?
He was, but why?
That's because he was raised by humans. So he has a human identity. Then from Superman, I think it's like what he got when he realized his powers and everything, right?
Is it that his parents want him to grow up amongst humans in order to understand humanity?
I think that's the integral part of why.
So he didn't make his own decision to be Clark Kent. So
I mean,
his identity as...
Did you choose your name? I mean, okay. Yeah. But I've been watching like Invincible. It's a very good animated series also on basically Superman kind of people. So there's a father who an alien comes from and then raises a child with a Earth woman, calls her a pet or something.
Earth woman. Okay.
Calls her a pet.
Nice.
Like, she was like a pet to me. That's literally what he says. And then he realized after like 40 years on this earth,
you don't procreate with your pet.
Okay, true. Unless you're Shane. Okay,
the writer is dark, bro.
But really, so he has that humanity in the end, and then like he was trying to convert his son to the side where they take over the earth and everything together. Their Viltrumite sort of descent. So they are meant to infiltrate the earth, weaken it and everything. But then because his son, because of the time he spent with his family and everything, with humans, more fragile beings, then he understands, he has this compassion for people, empathy, and he doesn't kill them all, and instead just goes away.
Connecting with humanity through that few meaningful connections.
That's why understanding your own vulnerabilities, like everyone has their own origin story. Like Spider-Man, his uncle, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yep. For me, it's I fap 7 times a day and reach 143 kg.
We all have our individual origin stories.
We do.
And some people are still in their origin stories. That's why the call to adventure, everything that leads it down that stretch.
I can only imagine someone that is at their like near their rock bottom listening to this and like they started smiling and they're like, oh, this is it. It's only out from here. I think I had that moment, but I didn't smile, of course. I didn't get super excited, but something just changed that, oh, actually if I look at this is just like the bottom part of the story. I can take certain actions to just completely become the hero that I always wanted to. I think I had this. A lot of people watch Avatar, right? The Last Airbender.
Yes.
And I've always like after watching all these shows and stuff, I will like pretend I can bend there. I want to be able to save the world because the whole story is that the Avatar is back and saves the world from the Fire Nation, whatever. So
Aang, master of all.
For me, at least I know for myself, I always wanted to be that hero, to make an impact. And the way I realized that is going back to like the story of my young self after watching. When I'm bathing, I will try to like see if I can bend there, or like fire or water.
Yeah, as a kid, you just do like the water, let the water leak down and boom, like.
I'll try to do random shit like that. So it just shows that I want to be someone that matters, with power, with influence, to save the world. Yeah. So I found that out through reflecting back into like my relationship with the animated series, the Avatar. Yeah.
Going back to what you liked as a child, inner child, and finding the wisdom in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, I want to be able to tap into the Avatar state, which is like, I think Tony Robbins talked about like state changing. That's like the first step to change your story, to change your impact. So now I'm trying to learn how to tap into the Avatar state, which is just a fancy way of saying that I want to be in a state where I'm more grateful, I have higher frequency, higher vibrations, and also I'm in a state whereby, let's say like the flow state, I'm able to do my best work or to improve a lot to help people around me.
Flow state, so maybe it is your point of maximum contribution. So the Avatar
maximum.
State, that's why the Superman, becoming Superman is just that was the idea from the Millionaire Master Plan by, I don't know his name. He talks about how if you want to make an impact, maybe start a side hustle or anything, you may not have to quit your job per se or quit your 9 to 5 like what I'm doing right now, 9 to 6. You can sometimes, so that 9 to 6 job may be just your Clark Kent time.
Your alter ego.
Yeah, but from there it is about making the most of your outside time to be in Superman mode. So what he says is, the question to ask is, what is the minimum time I need to spend in Clark Kent time each week? Buying me the rest of the time in Superman time. Buying me the rest in Superman time to pursue my future vision. So it's not a either or, it's a both and.
Okay.
You can swap between the two because you cannot give your full 100% flow state maybe in like 24/7.
Yeah.
So it is setting aside the time outside of your normal day-to-day responsibilities or minimizing that time as much as possible. That's why 4-hour work week maybe.
And for individuals, you will have different Clark Kent and Superman time, like definition of it. Because now currently it's a bit more advanced. Because I still lack clarity in this sense. So it's this entire concept is still a bit advanced for me. But I believe through knowing this and along the way, I will try to apply the frame here and there, journal about it. I'll be able to find the ratio or even the reason why I need to go into Superman time more, and how do I achieve that, and how do I balance with the responsibility of the Clark Kent thing. Time.
If you want, what I'm doing right now is being personal assistant. So I have my sister working as a personal assistant for me now.
You're not paying her.
Paying her. I'm paying her in hugs and kisses and love. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. So benevolent. Yes.
Right.
But so beginning, most of the time, if you just have friends or people, it's just or family. I mean, it is maybe outsourcing some things. Like for me, it's just having reminders because I myself didn't realize this until I was trying to explain to her like what I need reminders for on my day to day, like week to week. And there was a lot, and I was like, oh, so I've been handling, because I handle my cooking, my cleaning, my grocery shopping, on top of my intern, this podcast, and now I'm doing my own writing, my own learning. I do a bunch of stuff, family, other communities I'm in. So I realized I cannot divulge my attention 10 ways if I want to make progress. So it is minimizing my Clark Kent time in my day-to-day life, reminding myself to do chores and stuff. Having some help, because like it or not, one person can only do so much.
And also maybe organization is not something that comes natural to you. Like you don't have that skill.
It is not my point of highest contribution.
Right. Like calendar blocking, all this.
Yeah.
If you can change whatever, you have a PA to help you handle that. You just have to give the input, then she help you do the necessary change. Then you get the output or you get the feedback that can help you to reach into your Superman time faster. Yeah, that could be.
And spend more time.
Yeah.
So I can contribute more to the world around me, and what I said earlier.
And slowly you can actually start paying.
Yeah. Because as I solve problems, going down the.
Yeah.
Oh wait. What's your concept of? So you said the avatar state, right? You say it's just what? A state where you're in flow, is it?
I'm still trying to get this idea out. But generally, the avatar state, it just means that your physiology, your mood is in a good stage where you can provide with your best work. Like, personally, I have to admit that today, the state is slightly not the most optimal, but there are things that I could have done that can help me achieve this avatar state. Like, let's say, just do some jumping jacks. There's scientific evidence that push-ups, jumping jacks, just physical movement does help to raise the energy. Then there are ways like gratitude journaling, trying to stay a bit more calmer, or you can even use caffeine.
Yeah, I today I'm off caffeine, and I could, in the beginning especially, it was a lot harder to get into, let's say, flow. Yeah.
And it's fine, like it's sometimes you can have a variety in different energy, but if you really want to provide, like give your highest contribution, it's always better to tap into that avatar state whereby you can go into your flow state while still having positive energy, because energy is contagious. When we give this much energy into the camera, into the angles, you realize that the viewers can feel it in your tonality, in your facial expression, into the things, how much effort you put into your thoughts. Those reflect, and people can feel it and get impacted by it. So tapping the avatar state is a skill by itself. Or like Aang, initially he couldn't do it.
Control it even.
Yeah. He can maybe tap it once a while. But through the intention of wanting to tap into it more, you learn about yourself. Or like sometimes if you're emotional, you might need to do this to get into this state. Sometimes if you are angry,
like a flow ritual to get you into the state.
Yeah, if you're angry, maybe you have to calm yourself down through doing this, then you can tap into that state. So for different people, there's different way of tapping into that state. Just that I find it an interesting topic, like because I was like brainstorming video ideas for my own YouTube channel, and I just thought about avatar state. I was listening about the state change, then I thought about this whole concept and my story about how I try to bend water, bend air. I would like go to the beach and like feel the air around my hand and stuff. I thought about why I feel that way. And also eventually I thought about like the thumbnail, like having glowing blue eyes. That's a eye-catching thumbnail. But this concept, it might be already out there, but for me it means like I got my own like interpretation of what does avatar state mean. And it's just a fancy way of saying state changing. To prime yourself to do what you really want to do. Yeah.
To be at your peak.
Yeah.
We've been talking about the flow state, but what is the flow state even? Is the balance between it challenging yourself, but also it being like fun, right, and rewarding, is it?
Yeah.
Is that nice, perfect point in between.
And sometimes the perfect point might not be just high energy. Like let's say sometimes if you want to produce the most impact and your entire goal for that day or for that season of life is to be more, like let's say you are trying to go through psychotherapy, you're trying to be more vulnerable and open. Your avatar state is not to be, let me find myself in high energy. Then you go talk to the therapist. Doing the hard work at that point might be trying to face the fear, trying to peel the bandage and like let someone else in that you trust, that you pay them to, that they have the professional skills to help you.
Or just having a genuine conversation with the people around you day to day.
Then the avatar state of like a comedian could be different. They want prime themselves to be like to open for like opportunities to make jokes, to have a balance of like insulting people while making them like laugh instead of like taking things too serious. Like there are different ways, as different identities, as different priorities in the season of life. The avatar state means differently. So that is my long answer for how do I define like what I talked about just now.
I mean, for myself, applying avatar as a whole, I looked at it as communication. So only Aang, the avatar, the master of all four elements, speaking, listening, writing, reading, right? So the master of all four elements, those are the four elements I sort of, I guess, align them to. So mastering all four and being able to, save the world with communication, effective communication. With great power comes great responsibility. So, like it or not, none of us can waterbend or airbend or fly or...
I really believe that I can.
Even you can believe today. You can believe anything you want. But yeah.
One day I'll prove it to be true.
Yeah. When he goes bald and there's an arrow and his eyes start glowing.
I'm not even joking. I actually thought about tattooing an arrow on my head when I was younger. Actually, I was like, how can I look more like Aang?
One fine day we'll have a, I don't know, special episode. Let's wear a bald cap or something. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so each one of us in our daily lives have our own point of contribution. Like or not, we have an impact on the world around us. So it is finding that highest point of contribution, doing something that only you can do, saying the things that only you can say to the people, because you have individual connections to the people around you in your community. And only you have that sort of thing. You cannot just replace you with someone else and be like, go, be friends, be family. You cannot. There are blood ties, family ties, whatever. So there are things that only you can do on this earth. So it's finding those and then leaning into it. Yeah.
It's the offering of the complexity of individual lives into just a homogenized like group. And that's how like humans are. We are all like so complex, but when we come together, there's just so many things that can go differently. Like if you have like the multiverse theory, there's like unlimited amount of like opportunities or like variations of the same thing happening when people interact with one another.
And people, like-minded people, group together. Which is why, let's bring it back to Bryan Johnson. His goal or philosophy as a whole is to align the 70 trillion cells or whatever in his body, because like it or not, most of us have autoimmune diseases or inflammation. That's our body just fighting against itself. So his idea is to align all the cells in his body, his mind, everything. And then from there, once the individual, the local is sort of fixed, if you want to call it that, then from there is applying that sort of framework to global issues and everything. So it's rising the collective consciousness, elevating, but that is grander scale. Because if the problems you're facing on a day-to-day are just not getting enough sleep, not prioritizing sleep, eating shitty foods, we'll never get to focus on the more important problems, the Superman mode maybe, focusing on the Clark Kent, just living, surviving. So it's going from living to like thriving. So that's his sort of vision, if you do not really understand Bryan Johnson as a whole.
I still don't fully understand, because to me there are other ways of trying to live longer and fulfilling, like more fulfilling, like having less stress, like dealing with stress. I think that's one important thing. Having more compassion in the world, having connections, social connections, touching your friends. All of these are like the immediate thing that people should work on first.
I mean, not everyone has his financial capability.
Yeah. And how does he achieve his vision to align all the cells? Like, does he need to sell stuff to people? Like, he got his own product as well. Is his intentions truly pure? I still don't know, but I appreciate that.
It's impossible to understand him fully. Yeah.
I appreciate that at least he's doing something and he's putting it in the public for like scrutiny, for people to really to have data sets. Like he does the experiment, he put it out there, and how he does it, it's also out there. So at least we get to
the most measured human on earth or something.
We get to just observe and make decisions for ourselves in the future as well.
I mean, the main things that he preaches are still to just prioritize bedtime, not eat shitty foods, stuff that not have alcohol. Those main messages, I mean, to me, is about seeing like the fruit of what he's like trying to sow. Yeah. And it's overall not the worst sort of impact. I don't know what happened with him, but it's impossible to ever understand him fully.
And because, we don't need to.
Because of he has his own experiences.
I said we are just projecting also.
Yep.
So it's fine. You're probably projecting onto us as well as you're listening. But at any time, just try your best to give your highest contribution, like what we are doing currently. Just trying to put out good message, talk about conversations that interest us. We are having fun, going to flow state, all of this. Yeah.
Be a superhero in your own life.
Yeah. Then as for the uni topic, I think we have gone very deep also today. But I think it's quite important to a lot of us, especially if you're watching and you're around our age. If you're older, maybe you can reflect back, like what could you have done in university, or what can you still do? Like, it's a perpetual learner. You're always learning. So don't close out like, oh, I'm too old to learn or whatever. Like, you have responsibilities, it'll be harder, but still make an effort to look at your surrounding and make the best choice, or have a vision in mind, have a direction in mind, so that as you're moving forward in life, the small everyday decision can just fall into place. Like, you don't want to be like thinking about like micro decisions that, oh, what should I eat, or should I take this course, should I take that course? Like, let's say your vision, you never figure out your vision, then suddenly a computer science course come about and you are in the finance industry, then you're like, oh, should I take, everyone told me that this is a good course to take, it's good to learn about programming. Then what if it just doesn't serve you at all? You're just wasting time. You can save you a lot of time. So these are for the advice for the older people, or giving advice to people older than me.
I suppose it is just back to the type 1, type 2 decisions. Yeah. So for me personally, I believe that if I want to fail, I want to fail earlier, before I have responsibilities like children, a relationship. Like, I would rather, in my life recently, I've been sort of, some bad habits have been resurfacing. I've not been prioritizing sleep. I've been sleeping, I slept at 12 a.m. after watching YouTube in bed, with blue light blockers on, of course. You cannot discount the blue light blockers. I mean, cope. But yeah, so I've been being more mindless. To be fair, I've been just tackling more of my personal issues. And that has been...
You have issues? No way.
Oh, I have trauma? No way. Okay.
No way. I thought you are perfect.
No, that's you.
Oh, that's me, right? I'm perfect. Okay.
Because girl, you're amazing.
Tackle your personal...
But Yeah. So I rather fail earlier and then learn from it. So reflect everything, have systems in place. So maybe the reason why I even started getting more mindless and everything was because I was overwhelmed. So bad habits like pornography, stuff like that, gaming, addictions as a whole, they sort of stem from, they're symptoms. They're more symptoms of poor mental health than anything. So maybe I was overworking, juggling so many things. That's why I've now having people help me, because lucky or not, I'm not Superman or a superhero. I have to be Clark Kent some of the time. So that is, acknowledging that. Appreciating, embracing your vulnerability. And that's what makes us human. So.
Failing early in life. And also, if you look at failure in a way that whereby if you zoom things out, you have a direction, you have a goal, it's not failure, it's just part of the process. You just have to take the dip in the progress chart, then you will go up again, then go deep again, go up again.
If you constantly reflect and learn, your base is about the baseline, because you default to your baseline standards. So your baseline should slowly increase as you reach towards your ideal self. And then that will be, whether it's you on your deathbed or 80-year-old you can, on that topic, you can also like message, like Hormozi did like a back and forth, like trying to back and forth with his 80-year-old self. So when you're 80 years old, you will not care about small things, reversible decisions like what computer should I buy or something. Like the smallest brand model, it could change your entire life, but future you is not going to talk to you or about your computer model, right? Like that changed my life. That was the worst decision ever. No, so it helps to minimize all those sort of small, day-to-day things. Think more big picture, not short term.
Yeah, I think good place to end.
Yes.
It's been a very interesting episode. We talk about things that we kind of touched on, but in a different manner today.
Yeah, we sort of covered our future plans, right?
Future plans, yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys enjoy and like learn something from this. And if you receive any form of value, either through our very, very funny jokes and personality, or
hilarious,
we're just humorous,
maybe are the comedians, yes,
or the incredible wisdom from two worthless individuals,
I don't see it, then
I really want you guys to go down and hit the subscribe button, because we promise that every episode will get better. We'll start introducing guests that have more conversations that really help you to figure out your next steps. And just go and subscribe. See you guys.
Leave a comment. Give us your feedback. What do you like? What was your main takeaway? What do you not like? So we can improve the podcast. Yes.
Okay. And that's all. See you guys in the next week's episode.
See you. Bye.